It's time for The Local with your host and realtor, Katie McKinney.
Hey guys, it's Katie, your local real estate professional, and today I've got Bobbi Holliday here on the podcast.
Hello.
Bobbi, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, of course. Obviously, she's no stranger to Woodward or the community. She's involved in a lot of different things, but today I want to know a little bit more about who Bobbi is. So Bobbi, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? How did you get to Woodward? Those sorts of things.
Well, I was born and raised here in Woodward.
Okay.
And for a short season after I graduated high school, I was in the Oklahoma City area for a while. I did a lot of music things there. I met my husband. We got pregnant. And then I was like, hey, let's go back to Woodward. And he said, no. And now here we are.
We got him.
I know, we got him. But no, we really enjoy being back home. My family on both sides, the majority of my family's here. And so I love it because Ayla's growing up around her cousins. It's great for date night because there's a lot of options. Yeah. Whereas in the city, all of our single friends were like, you want me to do what with your kid? Like, how do I do this? But no, we love being in Woodward and
Mostly family.
Yeah.
I mean, and
family, community. We love our church family. A lot of good things about Woodward.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So obviously you grew up here and you never moved away when growing up. Everybody's here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. My dad has lived here his whole life. My mom moved a lot when she was a kid and then ended up in Woodward, met my dad. They settled here. So yeah, like all my siblings live here.
That's neat.
A lot of my cousins.
Yeah.
So
it's not as common as you might think. You know, a lot of the people here in Woodward, residents, there's some that have lived here their whole life, you know, which I know you haven't lived here. You know what? You went to Oklahoma City and that sort of thing. But for the most part, you've lived here.
Yeah.
And that's actually not as common. I thought when I moved here, everybody's just going to be from Woodward or the surrounding area. And I meet more and more people not from Woodward. But I think it's cool that we kind of all appreciate it and that family community vibe of it. So
yeah,
awesome.
for sure.
Awesome. So Bobbi works at High Plains Tech Center. And we talked a little bit about that a couple weeks ago with Katie Shirley. But the main reason, and she does amazing work there. What's your title? She's got a lot of titles.
Well,
but
I work so my position is split between two different companies.
Okay.
So High Plains Technology and then the Oklahoma Small Business Development Center.
Okay.
I work for both of them.
Oh,
so my
cool.
roles are different for both companies. So I'm a business advisor for the Oklahoma Small Business Development Center. Okay. And then for High Plains, I'm a coordinator for the business and entrepreneurial services.
It's a lot.
So it's a mouthful. Yeah. And basically what I tell people is I get to counsel small businesses more geared towards the marketing side of how to tell their story and share it with their target market.
Awesome. Awesome. And they actually are in the middle of a really cool series, and they continue to have, it's called Inspiration Overload. And Katie talked a little bit about that last month, and this will be obviously airing in March, so it'll be over. But I'm sure, you know, next year you'll probably have it again. But they have excellent events out there. Anything for small business owners, or big business owners, anybody can be out there and learn a lot about that. But today, we want to mostly talk about Bobbi's music. Super exciting. She gets really excited when we talk about music. I do too, because she is so talented.
Thank you.
If you haven't heard her sing, or actually coach. I mean, you teach. I got coach. I don't know if that's the word, but you coach vocalists as well and help them improve. I mean, she has a knack for it, a talent for it. But the coolest thing is you've got a new album out. Is it called an album? Yeah. Okay. A new album out. I don't know what to call it. With good. A lot of great songs. And what is it called?
So the band, our name is Hunn, Hunn. So when we were going through band name ideas on the text thread, Nathan threw out the idea, Honey and the Buns.
Honey and the Buns.
And yeah, we were all like, okay. Yeah. But then we just, shortened it to just Hunn.
I love that.
Yeah.
I say that a lot. Hunn. You can call
hey,
Allie that.
Hunn.
Yeah,
Hey,
exactly. Exactly. And who is it? Who's involved in that band?
So it is 3 people.
Okay.
Myself, a guy named Taylor Johnson, and then Chavez Solis.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Where are they from?
They're from Oklahoma City.
Okay. And how
Well,
did you...
Chavez, he lives in, oh man, Chavez, if you listen to this, I'm sorry. Like maybe San Antonio, one of those. He works with the Life Church circuit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But he's from Oklahoma City.
Got it. Okay, cool. And how did you meet them?
Well, so I've known Chavez for a while. Him and Nathan have been friends for a while. And so I met him through Nathan.
Nathan coming in clutch here.
Yeah,
several
Nathan.
times.
Thank you. And then Taylor, I just met him actually through this project. So I didn't know him until Chavez had approached me and said, we're doing this project and we need a female vocalist for it. Would you be interested? I said, of course. And then I met Taylor.
Mm-hmm. So. Okay, cool. That's neat. Kind of neat that we're all, all from the same area at least, or they are as well. So,
yeah.
And then, so what is, I guess, the genre of that album?
So this project that we're doing is specifically geared towards sync licensing.
Okay.
And
can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Yeah. So basically, in the commercial world, and Branson knows this, anytime the audio is synced with video, you have to have a license for that.
Right. Okay.
And that's why, like a few years ago on Instagram, when we all were like, "What? I can't post this video because I don't have rights to post it."
Yes.
So yeah, like if a videographer is looking for music to go with a wedding video, they have to purchase rights to that music. If Target wants a new, song for a fun commercial or whatever, they have to have rights for that as well. So that's kind of our goal behind all of this is to land sync deals.
Cool. That's really neat. So it's not the traditional of get it out there and hope that everybody listens to it. Obviously, that you want as many people to listen to it as possible, but the main focus of that project is to get more of the licensing side on
whereas like most bands, their primary goal would be, okay, let's tour, let's get our music out with the world. Obviously, like if it comes to that, we all love it. Yeah, but really the primary goal is for commercial use. And so our genre is kind of like, it's very, Chavez did most of the writing and Taylor did a lot of, I think he did a lot of the writing as well. But so it's more, I don't know, we're very intentional about like our writing style because we want it to fit a certain market.
Right.
So like it's more like the lyrics are more like, this is the good life, here we go now. So, like, if you're listening to a song like that, it makes you want to go, like, skydiving or something.
Yeah.
Like,
skip down, to the rainbow. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, to that rainbow. Yeah, that's
awesome.
What we're going for.
So, positive vibes is what's going on here, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
That's really neat. I listened to some of the songs, and where can we, and this we'll talk about it a little bit more, but where can we hear the album and all the different songs as listeners?
Yeah. So you can hear it. We release it Friday, February 7th.
Okay.
So by this time, you guys can already listen. But it'll be on all streaming platforms.
Oh,
so
cool.
iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to music.
That is really neat.
Yeah.
Super, super neat. Well, and I had listened to it on Music Bed as like is it like a preview, or is that just kind of completely?
That is where sync people who are looking for music, that's where they go. Music Bed.
Got it.
So that's why that released first.
Cool.
And then it'll...
You gotta know your stuff, and I'm not there yet. But
that's okay.
I'm learning.
I'm still learning.
That's awesome. But iTunes, everybody knows iTunes, Spotify, Amazon. Everybody's got Amazon, it seems like. So I mean, people know those things. Our podcast is on Spotify and iTunes as well. So
perfect.
so it's all those platforms as well. I kind of want to know something that you know well. I feel like some of the common misconceptions of music, whether it be somebody like you have this album and you're releasing it. Maybe what's a misconception about the music industry that most people don't realize? You can't just sing a song and hope that it goes well. What are kind of the misconceptions there?
So really, I think like the biggest thing to keep in mind, if this is something you were going to pursue or just, had a interest in, is that there's really not a roadmap to get where you're going. Like, I mean, if you want to be a doctor, then you're going to study really hard. You're going to work hard. You're going to go to college. You're going to take all the proper classes and la-di-da-di-da, you get your certificate.
There's your journey. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so like in the music world, like there's just no rhyme or reason for things happening. Like sometimes Nathan and I were actually talking about this today. He mentioned the song Holy by Florida Georgia Line.
Yes,
you guys know that one?
I know of that one.
So that was originally written for Justin Bieber like 5 years ago or something. And
cool.
that song just kind of sat on the shelf for a while. And then Florida Georgia Line picked the song up and now
it's huge.
We know it.
Yeah.
And so that's like a good example of like really how a lot of things work is like it takes time, and then sometimes things happen quickly. Sometimes you just don't ever really know. And so I think like for myself, like a misconception I have had for a long time is growing up, I always kind of thought I had to pick and choose between like even marriage and then pursuing music or like, cannot have a kid and pursue music.
Can't be touring with a kid.
Yeah. And there's truth behind like, I can't be like the world's best mom and also be like trying to be Lady Gaga or whatever. Which Ayler, that would be
Ayler
not so good probably.
She would have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. If I wore a meat suit, she'd probably really enjoy that.
That's awesome.
But so I mean, I think that it looks different for every person. And, like the world is going to try to carve you into what they want you to be. Like not just in music, but in a lot of different forms. And so I think like the misconception there is like that it looks different for everybody and that it takes time for things to happen. And I'm 27 and Nathan and I are very still like active in our pursuit for music, but our priorities look different now that we have a kid and now that we have, different things to think about, but that's okay. We're still pursuing
and
it,
learning and on the pursuit. Definitely. It doesn't have to be a straight line. Move to Nashville. Now we're big. It's not always that easy or that straight of a line to a goal, as well. So I think that's really cool. That's one of the things I admire about you. So happy to hear that. Obviously we talked about a little bit how someone can hear your album, hear your music. But what was your inspiration behind this? I know it's kind of a group together, but music in general, it could be music in general or this specific, the Hunn album. And is there like a name for the album? Is it just like Hunn's first album?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just Hunn.
Hunn. I like it. It's short and sweet. What was your inspiration behind this and or being in music?
So really, my inspiration with Hunn specifically, just really kind of fell in my lap. Okay. Actually, there was an artist that used to live here, Denver Duncan. Okay. I don't know if you guys know him. Yeah. So he came down back in September, and Nathan recorded his little group, and Chavez was part of that album. Oh, cool. And so, what's really funny is all the guys like camped out at our house for like a week or something.
Yes.
And Chavez was upstairs, and I said something to the guys, like, do you guys need anything from me? Uh-huh. Like, I was kind of being funny, like, in your green room or something, like, and Chavez goes, I actually do need something from you. And I thought he was kind of joking around. Yeah. And then he's like, we have this group thing that we're working on, and we need a female vocalist. And so anyway, I was instantly inspired because there's a band in the city that Taylor, our other part of this band, started called Chair Model. Okay. And if you guys have never heard of them, you need to check them out. Their music is awesome.
On my to-do list now.
Yes, you would really love it. But they started their band last year, and I think it was last year. But so I already knew like their goal, because same goal, like specifically for sync deals. And but the city, like Oklahoma City music people fell in love with their stuff. And so I was like, okay, if this is another project that Taylor's linked to, and I know Chavez, and he's super, super talented. I'm like, I want to be a part of whatever they're doing because they're really great at what they do.
Yes.
And so, that was, I was
That's
just
your
instantly inspired. Like I
Yeah.
didn't know any of the music. I didn't know the sound. I knew they wanted like a certain vibe and like more like a rocky kind of edgy vibe.
Right.
And totally different from anything that I'd ever done before. So it was a challenge for me. And it was also like, I was just in it from the very beginning.
That's cool. Your creative juices were going.
Yes.
That's awesome. Well, obviously, we've talked a little bit about music industry inspiration, the genre, which is kind of like NA almost, but kind of like a rock hint of rock. I've listened to it and I was like, I could really work out to this.
Oh, yes,
I could
girl.
do anything. I feel like I'm a superwoman if I did that.
Good, that's the goal.
That's the goal. Exactly. Maybe Target will think so too.
Oh, yeah. I would love it.
That would be awesome. But, it all boils down to people, community and kind of the inspiration within you, your talents and that sort of thing. But why do you enjoy being a businesswoman? Because you are a businesswoman in a lot of different ways. Why do you enjoy being a businesswoman in Northwest Oklahoma?
Well, I think what you just said, like our community in Oklahoma is I feel like we come from a state that's very community oriented.
Right.
And so, I love that because like in music, when I'm singing or writing a song, like that's how I connect with my emotions.
Right.
And so if I can share that with people and connect with them in that way, that's a really big inspiration to what I do. But translating that into the business world has been like a new thing for me that I just discovered that I really loved just last year through helping some businesses write like a mission statement or help them with their social media presence and basically how do we tell your story? Like when I write music, I'm telling a story. So when I translate that over into the business world and telling stories, it's the same heart behind it is gathering a community, telling your story in a way that's authentic and creative to your audience, and then bonding over that.
Right.
So
that's really neat. That I feel like that sums up a lot of what this podcast is about, really, is the community, the people, but also the business side. So I think you've added so much to this, and we're all very excited for you with Hunn, and we will be listening nonstop, especially while working out, because we need the motivation. And thanks so much, Bobbi, for being on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. I love that you're doing this. We need this in this area. So
well, thanks, Bobbi.
Yeah.